Dreamcon was an interesting experience. It was fun this year. 10 out of 10 do not recommend driving 16 hours to go there. It was a nice view on the way down there. To be honest with you, I don't know how I made it uh as smooth as I did, but it happened. I think the adrenaline, I was talking to Cubba when I got there. I think the adrenaline really made sure that I got there in one piece. Because once I was there and on the way back, I did not have that same enthusiasm. I pulled over like 7 different times. Previous to that, the longest I had ever driven, I think, was like 9 or 10 hours, and it was from North Carolina going up to New York. But that was like 2-ish years ago. So this was definitely a different experience. But yeah, there was a plethora of things to be happy about. Okay, for one, the cosplays were on point this year. I have to say that. Secondarily, I didn't really have issues that you usually have with conventions with the way people smell a little bit ripe. Last year we had some people that were there that kind of, what's a polite way of putting it? It was as if they, if I had the chance, would I do it again? Would I drive again? Absolutely not. No, 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 never driving again. I'll fly to the death of me. Uh, the path there wasn't the bad part because it was like the adrenaline was going, the juices were flowing. I only stopped 2 times. Like that's how pumped I was. I stopped 2 times, both times to get gas. Hopped out, filled the gas tank up, walked around the car twice, pulled the pump out, put it back. We're going. Now it bike there? Absolutely not. No, I might crash the bike. I might crash the bike, especially because there's so much weather involved. Like it's easy to contemplate, like it's easy to realize that when it rains in certain areas or if it's really sunny in one state, it can be raining in another state until you drive through everything. And it didn't really dawn on me until I was on the way back because on the way there for the most part, I don't think it rained at all actually. Like I might have sprinkled just a little bit, but for the most part it was hot. It was just hot, sunny, shining. And when it was nighttime, obviously the sky was clear. There wasn't any bad weather or anything like that. There wasn't even any animals on the highway. So I was pretty happy about that. We get down there, it was a see driving with somebody would make it easier, but it's just the fact of like 16 hours is an entire day. If you're talking like an 8-hour drive, that's like a school day, right? You still did stuff after school. Or like that's a sleep cycle. So if you leave at 8 a.m., right? And you drive 8 hours, it's 4 p.m. So you still have like half the day left realistically, depending on if you're night owl or not. I'm a night owl. But 16 hours, it didn't hit me when I first got there because I got there before everybody else from my group got there. Everybody else flew but me. So I was prepared for it. So I'm driving down there. Everybody's like, "Are you sure you're gonna get there in time?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're gonna be good. It's gonna be perfectly fine. I'll be there at the airport to pick you up," which I was. But on the way back, right? Everybody else also flew before I left. I was the last person at the Airbnb. I tidied everything up, made sure we were good to go. Then I started my drive. So I'm 2 or 3 hours into my drive, and everybody's like, "Hey, we just made it back." And I'm like, "Oh, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool." They're like, "How much longer do you have?" 12 and a half hours. Take it or leave it. It was not fun. It was not fun. It was raining, especially on that first stretch. Like it went from super hot Texas to what's beside Texas? Is it Alabama or Mississippi? It's one of the two. No, Louisiana? No. What that 3 state spread down there just blew me to high heaven because it started pouring rain. Bad, 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 bad. After about 20-ish minutes, rain completely stops, sun's out, baking the car again, right? Still going. I will say, they had me in a 2025 like Hyundai Sonata, full digital dashboard, and usually I'm not really big on those sort of things. I like my physical stuff within my vehicles. I don't want to rely too heavily on electronics, though they're pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, it did look pretty cool. But there's also a lot of malfunctions that can happen. Basically, if anything happens electrical with your car, Well, basically, your entire car is a piece of garbage now. Uh, but where was I going with that? On the drive back, it was just a bit of a pain. Both because I didn't have anything driving me. Like I wasn't in a rush to get home because I was like, I'm gonna get home and I'm just gonna be me again, right? I'm gonna get home and there's gonna be nothing interesting in my life again. The sheer force and vigor of that adrenaline was insane, right? That being at the convention, it was a whole different vibe. It was a whole different energy. Everything is indeed bigger in Texas. I can confirm. Except for the traffic. The traffic was not worse than it is in Charlotte, which I was appreciative of. I low key thought because it was a convention and 45,000 people bought the tickets. Matter of fact, hold on. Let me see how much. I forgot how much a regular pass was. Dreamcon 2026 pass cost. Let's. Okay, so the weekend pass itself was $150. There was 45,000 people that bought weekend passes. So 45,000 times 150. That's $6.75 million, right? And that's excluding all the other stuff because everything costs down there. All right, everything cost. I kind of understood some of it. I didn't really understand as much. Some of the parking lots were egregious. There was one parking lot. I'm ashamed to say, but I paid a ridiculous amount for parking down there. Um, but the drive itself, right? Like I said, down there, not bad. On the way back, terrible. Wasn't looking forward to anything. And I actually left when I drove down there. I started in the evening. I started at like 5 p.m. So most of the time I was driving, it was dark outside. So when I got there, it was daytime. This time I left at 6 a.m. So my entire day was me driving on the highway. Not fun. And that's when I really realized how long 16 hours was because before it was like, oh, it's just sleep time. I'm a night owl. I'm usually up at night. It didn't dawn on me. Plus, I stayed up most of the day after that as well. On the way back, it wasn't like that. I watched the sun rise and set while I was still driving. And then I got back at midnight. Uh, not it. Not it. I can honestly say. But yeah, it was a vibe, you know. Got to see Cuba, got to see some great stuff down there. Overall, really solid trip. I would give it overall a 7.7 out of 10. The food was really good. I didn't eat anything that we had out here because we don't have Whataburger out here. Went to Whataburger, got a sandwich. I love their milkshakes. All right. I know that sounds like a really weird thing to enjoy about a fast food restaurant, but I haven't been able to have a milkshake in a minute and enjoy it. Chocolate milkshake, chef's kiss. All right. Had it when I was there, had it on the way back too. It kept me going. We went to a barbecue spot that we went to the previous year. It didn't hit the same. I felt kind of embarrassed. For reference, I don't eat barbecue. It's not really something that I do, but my friends last year were like, hey, there's this barbecue spot. We should go there. We went to the main one that everybody was talking about. It's like Pinkertons or something, Pinkertons. It was closed because we tried to go on like a Monday, and I think it's closed Mondays and Tuesdays. There was another one, the second place one was also closed on Mondays and Tuesdays. And so the third one that we went to, I can't remember the title off the top of my head. The name off the top of my head. But it was okay, right? The first time I went there, it was the most amazing I ever had. And it was actually kind of impressive because it was just a bunch of old white guys in the kitchen. So I did not expect them to like, they did their big one. I was smiling. So this time when we go back and we have a couple, we brought my homeboys Benji and Steve, and I'm like, yo, you guys are gonna love this. For most of the trip, I'm like pretty reserved. I'm chill. I'm walking around because I don't like crowds, right? I'm not a crowds guy. So I'm just kind of like moseying along and everything. I'm chill, just conversation back and forth, just real even. But when we get over by this barbecue spot, I'm like, yo, you guys are gonna love this. I'm so pumped. Like I'm borderline jumping. I'm bouncing off the walls like I'm Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm hyped for it. We go in there, we get a plate, and I'm watching. You know the thing where like you recommend somebody try something and you watch them eat it. I had one of those moments, and so I'm watching my boy Steve. He's like, okay, let's see what it's hitting on. Tries the baked beans. He's like, whoa, hold on. these beans are fire, bro. These beans are fire. I was like, right, 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 right. And then he jumps to a rib. It didn't hit the way it was supposed to hit. He gave it like a 5 or a 6 out of 10, bro. I had never felt so embarrassed for a food recommendation ever. It was like watching your favorite player be slandered for being washed, but he's still in the league, so you refuse to admit that he's washed, right? That's exactly where my head was at. I couldn't admit it. I was like, yo, it's not as good as it was last time, but like it's still really good. I'm not gonna lie, it's still crazy. It still go crazy. And he was like, oh man, I don't know. The way you was talking about, I thought it would have been ridiculous. Like the beans fooled me at first. When he said that, I knew it was raps. There was nothing I could have said. There was nothing I could have said. But it was fun though. And since we made it that far, I do wanna talk a little bit about DreamCon, obviously itself, and some of the stuff that we did there. But also, I got to meet Kova. You know what I'm saying? I got to see Kova IRL. We took a picture in the car and whatnot. Made me happy, and Kova actually got me a gift too. But real quick, uh, so when we were at the convention, the way it's set up, they have 3 floors to the convention center. And on the third floor was like a cafeteria area and a couple main halls for like big performances and interviews with certain content creators and stuff. The second floor was like for cosplays. So if you needed to repair your cosplay, if you want to take pictures, any of that sort of stuff. They also had game rooms and card rooms and stuff like that. All those were all on the second floor. The first floor had all the littler halls. So like you had a bunch of artists selling their paintings, selling their drawings. You had people that made like the floor mats, the customized floor mats. They had people that did those. You had customized bonnets. What else was there? Some people that had created manga themselves were selling it there too. It was a really nice vibe. And I was sitting in there, and usually I don't get anything. I don't usually buy anything from, especially for myself when I go places. But I was thinking about it, and we were like walking around. I do have a little bit of tape. I just have to pull it off my glasses. It took me forever to do it. I might be able to do it later today, so you guys might be able to see it tomorrow night. But so when I was going around, at first I was just kind of like moseying along with one of my homegirls, and then they had like, hold on, let me see if it focuses. Please focus, please focus, please focus, please focus. There we go. Eevee, right, like the Pokemon. And so I got it for my mom because I thought it would be cute. Um, Also because Eevee has like a bunch of evolutions, and the same number of Eevee evolutions that are possible is the same number of people that there are in our family. So I thought it would also be kind of cool. She's not gonna get it. She's gonna look at this and say, "Is it a cat or a dog?" Right? But it'll make sense for me. And then for my 2 sisters, I got Hello Kitties, and I actually got these two first. And the thing is, these are made by hand. Like they crochet these by hand and stuff them to make sure they keep their shape. You know what I'm saying? And they're all keychains. I got these at first because I know one of my sisters, she really likes keychains. But the other sister, well, I'm trying to think. I haven't really decided which one I'm going to give to which one. Because one of them is like a tomboy personality, but she has keychains. So I'm thinking I might give her this one. And the other one is more girly, so I think I might give her this one. And it just so also happens to be a keychain, just like the Eevee one. So now they can all have one. I kind of feel bad though, because I didn't get one for my dad. But he wouldn't have used it because he doesn't like go around with car keys. And there wasn't like somebody selling tools or anything like that. And I don't think he would have liked any of the floor mats either, or else I would have got him a floor mat. So I think next year I'm just gonna have to try a little bit harder and think like what he would actually want to have. Maybe there's like a shirt or something. I really have to think his through, because I legit did not consider the fact that I didn't get him a gift until the convention closed. Like after the last day of the hall finished up, I was like, dang, I didn't get him anything. I hope he doesn't like feel some sort of way about that. He won't, but like I still, it still popped in my head. I was like, dang, that's kind of tough. But yeah, they made these by hand, and that's really the reason why I bought them. If it was machine made, I still would have thought it was cute, because I mean, come on, like look at those eyes, dude. Look at those eyes, dude. Look at the fit. Peep the fit. Peep the boo. But at the same time, right? The fact that it was hand knitted and they ripped them off, but for a lot of them they had these little stickers on it that told you how long it took them. And I want to say for this red one, it took 4.5 hours. And when you can tell like how long, when they give you that extra bit of information, it just feels more special to me. And the thing was, I kid you not, I want to say they were like, there's no price tag on here. I was about to read something. They couldn't have been more than like $27. Because I think overall, even with a tip included, it was like 57 for both of these together. So, and as you can see, like my hand is 8 inches from bottom to top. It's like a cool 3 inches. You know what I'm saying? It's got a little bit of girth to her head shape. That's actually poor word choice. They're shapely. They got some size to them. Uh, I mean, I was happy for it. I was happy for it. But oh, favorite cosplay? Oh, we gonna get into that. Listen, listen. Let me tie this bag real quick before we get too deep into it. They call Dreamcon CreamCon this year. Crazy thing to say. Um, but not without its warranted statements. You said it's always poor choice of words. It's my specialty, I have a way with words. But it was an experience, right? Now we're gonna walk you through this. All right, bear with me. So, uh, I actually saved some of the pictures. Now these first ones are gonna be some of my favorite ones that my homeboys took. So this is my boy, and he took a picture with uh Unk basically cosplaying as Killer B from Naruto. And I thought it was so cool because he made these. Like I think he blew these up, but the way he shaped them and everything, they were solid on the outside, all four of the tentacles. And the fit is tough too. You know what I'm saying? I really appreciated it. It just looked the part to me. And then he cosplayed as Maki from JJK, which was unusual because he was the only guy that I saw. He said he saw another guy that dressed like Maki. Now, Maki, obviously, by the name, you could tell is a girl character. Most guys don't dress as like a tomboy-esque girl character. So I just thought, granted, he has a girlfriend who loves him very much and he loves her very much. We call her his wife. Or let me put it this way. I call her his wife. But I was like, yo, I'm not gonna lie. If girls see you in this cosplay, they gonna want to take a picture. They gonna want to take a picture with you, especially if it's another Maki. And they did, right? So low key, maybe I should have stole his sauce. But it was cool. It was cool. And you had even non-anime dressing. Yo, I'm not gonna lie. There wasn't that many white boys there, but the white boys did not come to play. All right, they was fitted to the nines. All right, and I appreciated them down. There wasn't a single white boy in there that was just like there. They like, and I want to say, because they told us how much this costed. Or he did. He said all his gear and all his props came out to like $3,000. I didn't argue with him. I just said, bro, you look cool. I just said, bro, you look cool. And then I took everybody's picture with them. You know, they did that. They did that. This was one of my favorite ones because he it's obviously like a latex scar, but obviously he's cosplaying as Zoro from One Piece. And he even got one of the devil fruit there with him, you know what I'm saying? Has the prop swords too. He kind of looks like Shade Gilgis Alexander in the face a little bit too. But he was cool. He was cool. The best accessories, I'm not gonna lie, are the ones that people make by hand. There was quite a few people that were really showing off. But there was also some people that just had like your generic onesies. Like there was this okay, I'm getting way too far ahead of myself. There was just a lot of people that really showed out. You had Blackbeard from One Piece too. He came with the empty Hennessy bottle. You know what I'm saying? Nasty, dirty. He looks nasty and dirty, just like Blackbeard does in the show. I can't even lie to you. Perfect. 12 out of 10 cosplay. Came with the pirate guns too. You don't see the pistols like with their handle and everything, but you can kind of see just a little bit. 12 out of 10. They did fantastic. Everybody that tried, you could tell. You know what I'm saying? And then obviously my homeboy, he dressed as Luffy. So every time he saw a girl Luffy, he had to get that picture. Shout out to Granny Seiko right here. There was a lot of. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. This was a sleep. I'm pointing at the screen like I can see. She was one of our sleepers. We don't have a picture of her like facing the camera. But Granny Psycho from Dandanon was a really good sleeper cosplay for like elder women, like not women in like their 20s or 30s or even 40s. Like there was a couple like real deal grandmas that came to the convention and dressed up as her. And the fit really suited them. I was proud of them. They came out showing. You know what I'm saying? Um, I just came as me, man. I was just a dude. I will admit. I should have showed up and did something. I was gonna dress as Zero from Code Geass, but I couldn't get the custom the company that I was gonna go to have my measurements done. I didn't go in the proper time limit, and I missed out on their thing. So that was rough. Did I glaze them? When I had the opportunity to say that they look good, I said they look good. Trust and believe. It was well earned. It was well earned. We appreciate people that really do that, and they were really body positive at DreamCon. I will say that. You had Doflamingo. You know, he was definitely one of the better Doflamingos I saw out there. Had the full suit on and everything, and the glasses, yeah. We even had some furries. You know the convention's safe when there's furries around. If there's no furries at the convention, are you in a safe space? That's a real question. All right, walk with me, walk with me. But yeah, there was like a good somewhere between 7 and 10. I could tell because the tails were all different on everybody. That's the only reason I could tell the difference. I wasn't looking too close. Obviously, what's a cosplay convention without Deadpool? I wish I had a better picture of this right here. Let me. Can I zoom? I can zoom. Um. Please, please, please. All right. Warhammer 40K. Right. Bro came in a full suit of gear. He was clinking and clanking up and down the halls. And I wish I had like just a picture of him so you could see how bulky he was. Cause he was like 5'11-ish, but he had the full suit. Like that wasn't plastic. That was like it felt like it was metal and rock. Like he was really that was a heavy fit he had on. But he rocked it. 12 out of 10. 12 out of 10. That yeah, that's Luigi over here too. I'm not gonna lie, we had a lot of Luigi's and Mario's, and usually it was relatives. There was one couple that did they both cosplayed as Beast Boy from Teen Titans or Young Justice, depending on which one you've seen. Um, and they definitely did that. But this was my favorite group cosplay, alongside maybe one of I think I have a picture of them. What's it called? Uh, my brain's failing me. My brain's failing me. Power Rangers, because there was some good guys that had Power Rangers. But so he's actually paralyzed. All right. So for those that don't know, Charles Xavier from X-Men is the telepath. He's always in a wheelchair. He can move things with his mind, but unfortunately, he has no use of his legs, so that's why he's wheelchair bound. So he actually came with a bunch of his friends, and they were wheeling him around in the wheelchair while cosplaying as the other X-Men. And I thought this was one of the most impressively inclusive, amazing cosplays ever. And there was actually, I want to say, like three more people that were with him because they had a variety. They had like there was like two storms. Uh one of them was back there behind Ty actually with his what you call it, and his laser glasses were really really good. There was no issues with that. But I just thought it was really cool because he was when I realized I thought he was just like doing it for the bit, but when I realized he was actually like in real life paralyzed, it kind of like elevated the value of it because I was like, you thought this went through. Like you picked this clip because you were gonna eat it, and he's actually bald, right? That's not a his scalp is dead shiny. All right, you can see a reflection in that thing right there. Uh, I'm not gonna say that other part I was gonna say. But yeah. This was probably my favorite one of my favorite. This was top 2 group cosplays for certain, just off the strength of him and his genuine effect in this. Sham, I'm so glad to have you, Sham. Welcome, sir. You was kicking it for a minute there. All right, we gotta. I'm gonna come back to this. I got a story for this one. All right. Power Rangers. Yeah. So there was 2 versions of Power Rangers, right? One of them was like that's like a D tier getup, right? Where you have just the onesie, but it's the pullover, and maybe you have like a plastic mask. They had really, really good custom masks, right? They had the props for the wrist, right? This is the Dino Thunder Blue Ranger, one of my favorite Blue Rangers of all time, right? Everybody had their gear. Everybody had their props. The helmets were shining. That's how you knew it was serious, bro. And they had the full head helmets. It wasn't just the front facing. It wasn't just the mask so you could see it when the camera's on you. No. Full head. Full you know what? That's not great. And the way the boots were. I really appreciated it. Everybody leather. 12 out of 10. I appreciated it. So I think Charles Xavier and them boys got first place for the group cosplay, but this is definitely a strong second just because they looked the part. All right. And I kind of had seeing the White Ranger in person made me understand why people rock with the White Ranger so much in the cartoons. Because before I was Red Ranger, or if they had the special, I would go black, green, white. The White Ranger just didn't really do much for me. Like, he was a menace, don't get it twisted, but he didn't like hit home for me like that until I saw this. Then it was kind of like, I understand. I understand why you do what you do. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not gonna lie, everybody was great. You even had a couple of horror cosplays. He came with a Chucky doll and everything so they could flick up. This was a real knife, by the way. I don't know how he aged it and beat it up like that, but that was a real machete. Yeah. You know, ripped up, fit, dirty, nasty, everything. How did he see through this? I didn't even pay attention to the fact that I can't see his eyes. It must just be a thin fabric. That's low-key cool, though. He was nasty, too. I don't know how he fit this mask. I don't know if it was latex that he just placed, like, right underneath the mask. But, like, he was devious. Because he was also waddling around. Like, he had the whole limp and the laugh. That leprechaun laugh. He had everything going on. These two were menaces the entire thing. And when we finally ran into them, because we saw people take pictures with them, but we didn't get the opportunity to like actually see them up until this was day 3. Yeah, this was the last day. Fantastic. They also didn't say any words. So I think that also added to the effect of how cool they were to me. Low key. Okay. All right. So now we're going to come back to this. All right. Dreamcon is not just anime specific. It's not just video game specific. It's not just cartoon specific. It's not just artist specific. It's for everybody, right? So there's some people that'll show up and do some very interesting things. There was some adult entertainment artists there as well, right? She happened to be one of them, as well as Shigo over here, you know? But the person that we want to focus on is this guy on the ground right here. All right? Now, this is a content creator by the name of Shello. Now, Shello does that freaky content. Like, he will meet with ladies that happen to be on the freakier side, and he makes those jokes, you know, whether it's in a Discord call while they're playing video games. He'll do those e-dating shows. Like, he's one of those guys. All right, so you know it's kind of cringy, but it's not until you see it in person that you realize how nasty and devious it actually is. I heard him before I saw him. We came in from over here, like way back here. So we're over by these doors. We walk in between this blue part right here and the actual entranceway, and I hear him laughing. He sounds like Mickey Mouse laughing. Like Mickey Mouse was, oh boy, right? He sounds like he was hit, it was in that pitch. So I'm like, yo, what's going on? Look to my right, I see Shello with her in his, I don't have a stuffed animal or else I would abuse the stuffed animal low key to show you. But he literally had her legs over his biceps and he's air humping her. And she's laughing. And then I realized who he was. And I said, at first I was like, oh, this is weird. Then I was like, is that Shello? I said, I've never seen him do this in real life. I don't want to see him do this in real life. I feel like I'm in the cuck chair. That's how inappropriate it was, bro. I usually skip this part of the video. Bro, I skip the intro. I get to the meat and potatoes, and then I cut the video off because I'm done. I don't need it anymore. But yeah, so that was obviously before this. We walk around, and that's how we ended up getting this picture, because after he puts her down, he keeps laughing and giggling really loud and lays on the floor while she twerks over his head. Yeah. So that's what this was. Luckily, it's not a live picture. I wouldn't want to subject you guys to that. And then you have this guy, this grease ball right here. You know, he had to get that overhead shot. I know he was so happy. He had fun with this one as soon as he got home. Oh my God. Yeah, I didn't even realize he had his phone in his hand. I thought he was just standing here awkwardly. No, yeah. He says some things need to be recorded. Perhaps. Seeing him in person was a different experience. I will say though, there was one content creator of the adult variety that I really appreciated being able to see. All right. This is the Kira Noir. All right. If you don't know, you do know now. I would recommend you look her up on Twitter. I would not recommend you look her up anywhere else. I'm sure she has an IG too. I'm not that deep into the woods. But I didn't know she liked anime like that. But she did cosplay as Misa Amane from Death Note. So that was actually really cool. I didn't see her in her cosplay. I saw her in street clothes. Okay? Now, I didn't even pay attention to this. I'm afraid to open it. I'm not going to open it right here. But basically, right, I see her walking with some guy through the hall. Now, at the time, I actually have to look through my footage and see if I caught it on my glasses, because I think I was recording at the time. I'm walking with my boys this way. They're walking back this way. All right. Now, I'm not thinking anything of it. I'm just kind of moseying along. My brain is turned off. I'm just walking. I'm following wherever they need to go because I don't care where I'm going. I'm happy just being at the convention. I'm just here for the ride. You know what I'm saying? They didn't see her. They were not paying attention at all. And usually, like when everybody recognizes somebody or they think they saw somebody, you know, you're walking past your homeboy. You're like, you wait till you walk past and you're like, yo, was that? And you look back at the person. I'm walking. She walks past me. I'm looking at them. They show no recollection. They're just looking every which way, but at her, at me, at each other. So I realized they didn't know who that was. And I'm ashamed to say, I had to put them on game. I said, y'all didn't just see her? They said, who? I said, her right there in the blue top. It was like, who's that? I said, nah. I unfortunately did have to pull up my Twitter. I had to let them know what they was missing out on. I said, yeah, this is legendary. This is legendary loot right here, bro. Y'all don't know nothing about this. Y'all need to, y'all are behind on the times. She has an established catalog, brother. All right. I had to just for the one time. And then the second time they saw her, they knew. All right. That's as deep into the woods as I'm willing to go. Now, with that being said, this was top 1 cosplay for me. All right. This was absolutely flawless. listen, this anybody that painted their skin from head to toe, 12 out of 10. You were flawless. You were everything I could have hoped you would be. All right? I just want to get that out the way. But he took it above and beyond. He had the big green chain. He mixed what is that from the Boondocks? A pimp named Slickback, a pimp named Slickback. There we go. A pimp named Slickback and Piccolo's aura. He blended them together. So he dripped out Piccolo in ice and jewelry in the pimp glasses. It kept the true authentic ears, the turban, you know what I'm saying? The purple color scheme, the white to the color scheme. 1-star Dragon Ball on the cane, on the pimp cane. Gator on the shoes. That's devious work, brother. That's devious work. He's just so smooth. This was top 1 cosplays. I'm not gonna lie. He was phenomenal, bro. And when I saw him in real life, I saw him before I saw this video. So I don't know if I didn't appreciate it as much as I should have. But when I took the picture of my homeboy with him, I was like, yo, this cosplay is fire. Like, he really did that. But watching this video back, no, he really did that. I'm talking glasses, chains, rings, the belt, the pants, the vest, the shoes, the cane, the glasses, the turban, the overcoat. That's 11 piece. That's an 11-piece fit right there. Chef's kiss. He was like that. But overall, Dreamcon was amazing. I can for sure at least say. Yeah. Hey, that check finally cleared from saving the world and stalling for Goku all that time. That's what that was. All in all, Dreamcon was a blast. You know? Wouldn't do without him. It definitely charges 3 cents a piece up front. No, he definitely does. Yeah, I'm glad to be back. I do miss it. I do miss it a little bit because so I'm not gonna lie, there was one content creator that said the most buffoonish thing I've ever heard. He said he would never go to Dreamcon because he feels like it's just RDC and all of their fans commingling, and there's not any opportunities or anything else going on. And I would make the argument that you don't see enough RDC at Dreamcon. Now, obviously, they set it up and like orchestrate everything, but I only saw 4 of the members of RDC during the entire weekend. I would say it's about literally everybody else with the exception of RDC. I didn't see RDC members like walking around the halls. I saw the Urages. I saw Senna. I saw Jason Lewine. I saw what's it? NMP LOL Nick. I saw Amaru. I saw a bunch of people, like a bunch of up and coming streamers, a couple streamers that were like post prime, but like they still matter. Like their names still ring bells, you know. And there were some people that you may never have expected that were there. I really, you called me there, Alex. You called me there. I didn't even realize it was him actually. I thought Jason was Wraith because he had his hood pulled over his head, and he had it like these, and he was moving away from Senna. So I couldn't tell who he was, and I didn't hear a name. So I saw him walk right past me. You could make the argument I fumbled the bag just a teensy bit, but it was smooth. It was smooth. They're also both relatively the same height. That's the other issue. They have the same haircut and they're basically the same height. So when they're trying to hide, it's hard to tell. But let me think. Overall, all the artists that went were pretty cool. All the talent was there. They even had a corner where all the voice actors that came and anybody that had like done any like directing parts or producing parts for any projects. They were all on the back wall in one of the exhibit halls, so everybody had like lines to go take pictures and have them sign something. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever because you got the best of every world possible, if I'm gonna be honest. Um, it was great. Oh, it could definitely have it. Rab was. Oh yeah, Rab So Petty was definitely there. Yeah, he actually he debuted his was it the Shibuya arc? No, no. He debuted his most recent video there. Actually, they had like a movie theater type release for it, and I just thought it was like the craziest thing ever. But it was low key really cool. Um, but yeah, that's the overall gist of what DreamCon was for me. However, comma, you must take all your positives and negatives in stride. And the main negative that I ended up coming into was with our Airbnb. Now, I went with a group of, we were supposed to be like 13 of us, but obviously, you know, you have your, when you're trying to make it out of the group chat, there's people that can't go, obviously. So we were down to nine. So we rented a B&B for nine. And there was two Airbnb, like it felt like townhomes almost that were beside each other. They weren't like directly like connected, so there was a little bit of a gap, and there was like a alleyway for like trash cans or whatever. But we were supposed to be in one of them had that we had put the down payment and everything down for like 2 months in advance. We get a message from the host saying, "Hey, have a family emergency. I need my family members to stay in that unit. Can we move you guys to the one next door? And I'll just give you a $500 refund." We don't know why there's a $500 refund, but $500 refund, right? So of course we say, yeah, we're not going to be super difficult. We're going there for the vibes. Plus, it was so last minute when we were told, we didn't want to sit there and have to go through the process of trying to find a different B&B. So we just take them at the word. We go in, and as soon as I finished my 16-hour drive and picked up my homeboy Mo from the airport, we drove over there, checked in, and did our little walkthrough. And as a matter of fact, I don't have the video, do I? I don't have the video on my phone right here. It was an okay place, but I'm gonna say this, and I don't want it to go too far. I knew the B&B host was black. I'll take it a step further. I knew the B&B host was a black woman because of the art that was on the walls. There was a lot of Afrocentric artwork there. But it was also the way it was placed. You could tell it was a woman that selected it. And then they also had like paintings of Louis V purses and stuff on the staircases. Like not on the flat part that you step on, but if you stand in front of a staircase, how you could see on a wooden staircase how it kind of like level, how the steps go up, but there's that flat part that goes up along with it. She had those parts painted as well. Cool, perfect. I'm not gonna complain. I'm not gonna complain. Interesting art choice. Not really my cup of tea, but I respect it, right? It's done to sell, and apparently it does sell. You're in the business of B&B. You do what you gotta do, sis. Go crazy. We go upstairs. We're looking for the beds. We're missing a mattress. We thought there was gonna be a bunk bed in one of the rooms. We just see one bed in one room, and in the other bedroom, there's two separate beds that are set beside each other. When you have nine people, you don't want to disorient people. So we're kind of wondering what's going on there. So I look at him, he looks at me, we're like, "Yo, where's the other bed?" And I stand in between both rooms and I look down at the floor, and my brain gets to thinking. All right? This is gonna sound terrible. But because I knew who the owner was, who the owner had to be, I knew the last mattress was going to be in an unorthodox place. So I started looking for a drawer because I thought it was going to be a futon. It was not a futon, but there was supposed to be a drawer. Underneath in the one room that had the singular bed, on the bottom level, there was a what's it called? There was a drawer. I thought. Instead, it was just literally a mattress sitting on top of a wooden frame covered with the outer layer of the same material that the bed above it was. So I went to pull it out thinking it was a drawer and I was going to have to pull something out of it. That was not the case at all. I pulled it out and it slid wood on carpet across the floor. I couldn't do anything but laugh. I looked at Mo. I said, I wonder who's sleeping here. I'm sleeping on the couch anyway, so it didn't bother me, but this is interesting. All right. So that was a little bit curious. Not a problem though. Everybody comes in, we're doing our thing. Everybody's pretty happy. Everybody's pretty content. We ended up getting a air mattress just to help blend the situation a little bit more. They had some nice appliances there. Stainless steel. I'm a fan of stainless steel, if you get my drift. Had a nice fan above the oven too. The oven did burn my peanut butter cookies both times I cooked them, but that's beside the point. TV remotes didn't work for the TV. If my homeboy didn't have a switch that he was able to connect to it so we could play Mario Kart and Super Smash Bros., we probably would have been a little bit more pissed. But again, I digress. No extra trash bags. I'm a clean freak a little bit. I'm like the older brother person when we go on trips. So I'm always going to make sure all the little things that need to go right get taken care of properly. So I felt some sort of way. Had to go to the store, had to get detergent for the washing machine, but they did have a washing machine and a dryer, so I'm happy. They did both work. I can confirm because I washed my clothes before I took my 16-hour drive back home. But it didn't have detergent, so we had to get detergent. Had to get paper towels. Had to get dish soap. Had to get more trash bags. So we had to take care of some stuff. The house also wasn't the cleanest. There was some grease stains on the cabinet walls. And I'm not going to say you should fire the cleaners that cleaned before we arrived, but you should definitely not rehire them. All right, after this contract's up or whatever the case may be. Whatever the case may have been, we go through the progressions and everything. Everything's cool for the most part. Aside from those slight issues that irritate me more than the average person, I'd wager. They were like, yo, I don't really like how she's moving. I don't like how we feel lied to about the bed situation. I don't like how there wasn't as many toiletries. She actually didn't have enough towels for us either. I forgot about that. I don't know how you knew you were going to have a house with 9 people in it 3 months in advance, 90 days in advance, and you didn't have enough towels for said 9 people. It's kind of weird. It's kind of awkward. Again, whatever. We continue on. I'm ready to just go ahead and be outside of the B&B more than I'm in the B&B. So I'm not taking it too much to heart. They're like, oh man, this is a 2-star experience. This is bad. And I'm like, guys, it's not that bad. She tried her best. And at the end of the day, she did respond in a timely manner. It wasn't like we would text about an issue and she would text back 12 hours later. No, she was texting back within like 1 to 3 hours. So I was content with that. Unfortunately, on our second to last day there, was it Monday morning? I think, yeah. Monday morning or Sunday morning. It's pouring rain. Like pouring rain. We see somebody's car pull up into the driveway. I don't recognize the car. I'm confused. A white lady in her 40s hops out, rushes over to the door. Again, it's pouring rain. She doesn't have an umbrella. It's just raining on her. And at first, I'm like, dang, one of y'all got DoorDash? In the rain? I would have drove and picked up your food, bro. Like, now this poor lady is sitting here trying to drop the food off, and she's got to ring the doorbell and everything. But she doesn't ring the doorbell. So I walk over to the door, and she's just standing there on her phone with nothing in her hands, which is weird. Again, I walk back over to the kitchen area. It's me, my boy Jared, my boy Ty. Jared's in his underwears and a t-shirt, low-key Winnie the Poohing it. All right. I'm like, did one of y'all order DoorDash? They say no. I'm like, okay, cool. There's a lady at the door. I said, does she have food? I said, no. She's on her phone. He's like, okay, well, let's see what happens. Because we're not going to open the door for this random lady. We're thinking maybe she just came to the wrong door. Because again, there's like 4 houses that look identical right beside each other, right? That was not the case. We hear her start putting in the code. I look at Ty. Ty looks at Jared. Jared looks at me. We hear it ping. Do, do, do. Incorrect. We're like, okay, cool. She's going to catch a hint soon. Do, do, do. Incorrect again. Okay, we're still not worried. Do, do, do. She put the code in right. She didn't realize that she did because of the rain. She couldn't hear it over the rain, though. Puts it in a second time, the door locks itself back. She realizes when she feels the handle that it locked itself back and puts the code in again. Alarm goes off, opens the door. She walks in, looks at us while shivering in the because she's wet. We say, we're looking at each other. We look back at her. We're like, hey. Again, right? This is a very critical situation because a random 40-year-old white lady just walked to the house and there's 3 black guys in the kitchen. I think that would be uncomfortable for both sides of the equation. It's a very unbalanced equation. All right, we need to figure out how to switch this out. She's like, hey, I'm here for the tour. We're like, tour? It's Airbnb. She says, well, I'm supposed to be doing a viewing of the house so that I can buy it. We're like, oh, well, we're renting it right now, so we won't be able to help you with that. And she's like, oh. Then she hits the line. This is awkward. Yeah, just a little bit. I'm trying to figure out what her next move is, because I'm like, you kind of gotta go. You kind of need to leave, because my homeboys and our homegirls are sleeping upstairs and in the room right beside where she's standing. She says, would it be possible for me to look through the house right now? I sat there in silence, stunned, too stunned to speak. Her brain's not braining. My homeboy says, no. We have a bunch of our friends sleeping, and it would be really uncomfortable for them. He's like, oh, it's okay. I live right down the street. I can come back tomorrow. Really, really interesting situation. As she's about to leave, we see a heavier set black lady in a bonnet poke her head into the door. Doesn't say a word, just pokes in, looks at us, pokes her head back out. White lady steps outside, closes the door. We scurry over to the door to hear what they're talking about. That was the realtor that was supposed to be showing her the place. She's like, yeah, they said that they're renting it. They said that they'll be gone tomorrow, but yeah, would it be possible to go to a different place to tour since we can't go to this one? She's like, oh, well, the homeowner never told me that they were renting this place out, which kind of makes sense considering the fact that we were supposed to be in the house next door, but got switched literally a week before this occurred, you know? So with that in mind, it made sense that it would be a little bit irritating for the person that had to go through this unfortunate situation. And it was still pouring rain outside. So they're actively getting rained on while having this conversation, mind you. Our homegirl, who set the reservation, rushes to the top of the staircase, stomping. What happened? Guys, what happened? Obviously, me trying to calm down the situation, I know if I just say something from the kitchen, she's not going to get it. She's going to come downstairs. And the last thing we need is her opening that front door and yelling at this poor lady. So what do? I do a little joggy jog over to the staircase, 2 hands, all right? Like I'm Spider-Man trying to stop a train. It's okay. We got it covered. She says, okay. Goes back in the room. After a couple minutes, she processes it, texts the group chat, says, I'm about to go off. We know she's about to text the owner of the B&B because she's piecing two and two together. But we have to make sure she has the accurate story so she can do what she needs to do properly and in accordance with, making sure everything goes smooth. So it's not too disrespectful, if you will. Me and my boy Ty, we jog ourselves upstairs. Ty knocks on the door. Now, anybody that has a mom who doesn't like being woken up in the morning, you know that feeling of, especially if you miss the school bus, you knock on that door and you don't really want to talk to her, but you're too far gone. You gotta see it through to the end. We knock on the door, silence. Knock on the door a second time. Come in. It's not looking good for us, guys. We walk through. Hey, so this is what happened. We start breaking it down. We explain it to her. She's like, okay, I'm absolutely sick. I've had enough of this place. Da da da. She's irate. She's on 10,000. And I understand. It just seems like it's one thing after the other. First, it was the fact that it didn't fit the description, the fact that we got moved at the last second, the fact that there wasn't enough linens provided, the fact that there was not any of the cleaning supplies necessary to make sure that everything was going to stay clean. There's just a whole lot of going on. And I wasn't mad at that. But I also wanted to make sure we could still rest our heads here for this last night. So instead of her texting the owner of the B&B, I said, let's do one better. Let's text the B&B support directly. And so we ended up doing that. Now, we had to make sure. I was like, yeah, make sure you put in that one of your housemates was in his underwear too. Yeah, make sure that they know that, right? That's a little traumatic for us, just being seen. And what if we were all just being naked in the kitchen for some reason, just three boys being boys in the kitchen, just butt naked, and she just walked in on us right there. That'd be kind of crazy. That would never happen. Let me clarify. That would never happen. But in theory, all right, in theory, it could have happened, and that's the biggest concern. So, lo and behold, we got it cleaned up. They offered us a $200 refund, then decided that our complaint didn't meet the qualifications for said refund, and changed their minds like 24 hours later, which was really weird. But overall, not terrible. However, because I was the one person that thought that the place was still a 3-star experience before then, because again, it was decently clean. The lights worked, the power worked. We didn't have to worry about our vehicles getting broken into outside. She did respond in a timely manner. To me, that was a mediocre place, right? That was perfectly mid. That's a 5 out of 10 spot. As soon as she left, they look at me and they say, so what do you rate? How many stars do you give it now? And I had to concede the match. I said, man, this is like a 1.2 star experience. And that's because the building didn't collapse on us while we were here. But all in all, that was the only negative. The convention itself, Dreamcon itself, chef's kiss, 10 out of 10. Mark, RDC, all the guys, the city of Houston, everybody was phenomenal. Everybody was perfect. I genuinely couldn't have asked for more. Maybe cheaper concessions inside of the building, because I refused to buy food inside of the building. But there was also like a lot of stuff around the area that you could definitely get down on. Yeah, the eats around the convention center were peak. It was just phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? But in the convention center, that was a whole different story. And that leads me to the final moment or experience that really had a profound impact on me. And obviously, that was being able to meet Cubba. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, Tony was the first person that I ever got to meet when I went to the Atlanta show for Eves. But I got to see Cubba in like this Chinatown area, and we went to this nice little small shop, and we were chopping it up, and I I was kind of I won't do it to you. I won't do it to you. It is saved in my phone as your contact picture, though. I hope you know that. Um, but we were sitting there, and I realized Charlotte, despite being so diverse and being like a really, really big city in North Carolina, the biggest city in North Carolina with over 1 million people in it, we don't really have a Chinatown like that. Like it was a whole complex. And I kind of joked with him and said, my wife could really be here right now, and I don't know. And I'm missing her. And it was funny, but at the same time, it kind of made me sad. Cause like, what if though? Like, what if though? Realistically, like, what are the odds? It's not zero. That's the problem, right? And because it's not zero, it makes you think about it. But we chopped it up and everything, and I think Cubba can confirm I am the same person that I am to you guys as I am if you were to meet me in real life. But you know, yeah, the spot was amazing. The spot was amazing. The staff was terrific as well. Everybody that came in was so respectful and so chill. That's the problem. I will say, Cubba outdid himself. All right, I did not know in advance that he was gonna get me a gift until I was like already like in Houston and everything, and we all finally ironed out a date to kick it. But when I get over there, he has like this bag, right? And it's hold on, I'm gonna show you the box that was inside the bag. It was inside this box. I'm not used to getting gifts like that. I don't really ask for anything even for my birthday. So I'm not anticipating anything. But in my head I'm like, okay, I'm just hoping he didn't spend like money on the gift, right? I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's a t-shirt. Maybe it's just like a really cool t-shirt. Or like some sort of merch that's gonna be like really fire and I'm gonna be able to put it on the wall behind me. That in my head is what I'm thinking about. So when we're kicking in the car, he's like, all right, what do you think it is? I'm shaking the box around and I hear something, but I don't know what it is. It's foreign to me. It was card sleeves. And the card sleeves were on top of bubble wrap. And when I unwrap it, you know what I'm saying? It was an album. The first album that I will have, you know? Now, for those that know, this is Lil Fantasy Volume 1 by Shay Young from Twice. Now, this album is important to me because it was the first reaction that I had ever done where I cried on stream. I used to look down on people for doing it. I say, bro, you grown. Like we adults here. Or like even if you're a teenager, if you're a guy, like, bro, we dudes here. Like, what are you crying on stream for, bro? Turn the camera off. And I literally, if you watch that reaction, like to this day, it's still up. I'm a man of my word. I'm not gonna take it down. I had to cut the camera off, right? I was thinking about SpaghettiOs and childhood memories when it's raining outside, playing Paddington on the computer, bro. Craziest experience. It was one of my reality check moments as a streamer. I will honestly admit. Wouldn't erase that memory from my mind unless you paid me like $1 billion. Then I'm not gonna lie, we could do a lot. Hey, we can do a lot with that $1 billion. You feel what I'm saying? But the odds of that happening are zero, effectively. But I was genuinely like beside myself because I didn't. I never expected that to be the thing. I didn't think any album was going to be in the box, but I know this could not have been easy to get because this album did not just drop. This album's been out for a hot minute, and it's still, right? The reason why you see the ring light reflecting off it, it's still inside the plastic, bro. It's dead still inside the plastic. I haven't showed my mom yet. That's also part of the reason it's still in plastic, and I just now got to show you guys. This is literally. I told him, and I think he thinks that it was hyperbole when I said it, but it was genuinely a better gift, a more thoughtful gift than every gift that my last girlfriend got me altogether. With the sole exception being this time we went to this Charlotte Hornets game and had tickets to that game. That was a really, really good gift because I got to see one of my favorite basketball players, Colin Sexton, in real life, and that was the only NBA game I've actually ever been to, right? So that is like very close to this, right? And then I guess if you take everything else that she ever gave me and like put it together with that, then it kind of ever so slightly edges out. But for one gift, that's how good this was. The only album that could ever hold a candle to this for me would be Fozia's album, because that was the first ever music reaction I ever did. I used to tell myself I would never do a music reaction because, well, music reactions just don't make money. And you fight copyright cases 24/7, right? I used to say I'd never do it, but I just loved her album so much, and it was just so great to me that I'm always gonna like. She's like up there for me, like she matters to me, bro. And this is right there with it because again, this is the first time I ever cried on stream. And so I was genuinely like surprised and beside myself the entire time. I was just kind of like staring at the box because like it's it's a really good album, man. If you haven't heard it, you should hear it. I would recommend listening to it, not watching my reaction for it. I definitely I definitely don't agree that you should do that. But yeah, yeah, little fantasy volume one, man. It's a really good one, man. I did peep. I did peep. Yes. This. Yeah. Um. Yeah. It's a really good album, man. But not to get too sentimental on it. You know. Uh, Thank you, Cubba, once again, because you really outdid yourself with that one. Like I could say it 11 times. I could say it 10 times, and it would not be enough. When my mom wakes up in the morning tomorrow, I'm gonna show her this and give her her Eevee, and then I can give my two sisters their Hello Kitty ones. I might wake my one sister up. I think she might still be up because it's 2 a.m. my time, so she might be on the phone right now. So I might ask her. I'm sure she'll be happy because she just likes cute things. The other sister I'll wait till the morning because I don't know. I don't know if she has work. Um, so I won't wake her up for that reason. But whenever she wakes up or whenever I see her tomorrow, I'll give her that. But yeah, it was it was awesome. Yeah, you know. This year everything like Dreamcon related definitely went better than last year, and then like being able to meet Clubba IRL, and that seeing that album uh was definitely the icing on top. That was really the icing. That was the icing, the candle, the ice cream, the napkin, the spoon, the happy birthday. That was all the other stuff on top. If Dreamcon itself was the what's it called? Was the cake. So I'm tremendously appreciative of that. I cannot put into words. Had to lock in there for a second. I started staring at the what you call it. Started staring at the box itself, and I started getting those feelings from when I watched the video. I genuinely like I can't re-listen to the album without feeling that same without going back to that place. So that's also part of the reason why it means a lot to me. Yeah. So yeah. Overall, if I could if I could erase the driving 16 hours back part, it would be a great like a 12 out of 10 trip. Honestly, I do need to figure out what's going on with this Hertz rental though, because we actually got two rentals. We got one, which was obviously the one that I drove down there because I'm not going to drive my own car 1,048 miles to Houston, Texas. No, 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 no. But when I got there, we ended up getting a Hertz one because it was 9 of us, obviously. So I was gonna drive. We got two sedans, and the one that we got through Hertz, for some reason, I turned the key in at 11:04 a.m. the day, which would have been exactly 3 days after we picked it up, which was within the time limit and when it was expected to be dropped off. Because we actually picked it up at 11:09 on Friday. It's supposed to be dropped off on Monday at 11 ish, like within 30 minutes of 11, either before or after. And they keep putting holding charges on my credit card. And I just got another one 15 minutes ago for $185. And just so that you guys can see exactly what I'm seeing, W Guts, by the way. If you haven't read Berserk, I would recommend reading it. I would not recommend watching a show. Yeah, so I need to figure out what's going on there because they've done this every single day since, and I don't like what that implies. But we'll figure that out, at a later date. So hopefully I'll have some good news. No, not hopefully. I will have some good news about that because I'm not playing all those games and shenanigans. I will not lie. 3D Berserk was a experience. I'll put it that way. But yeah, man. Dreamcon was a vibe. It was definitely a smooth 8.7 out of 10. The B&B issues and then the driving portion, even though I thought the driving there wasn't terrible, it wasn't as fun because of the time of day that I did it. But on the way back, seeing things, just the views did not hit home as much as I was hoping they would. But it's okay, it happens to the best of us. Definitely don't recommend it to anybody. Somebody drove down from Chicago. That was a very nasty thing to do. Best view might have been Atlanta at night, or when I hit this one really, really long straightaway going from what is that? Is it Louisiana, Mississippi, then Alabama? Whichever order those three are. When I was coming, it was, I kid you not, 168 miles of just straight road. It was obviously a little bit hilly, but for the most part, it was just nighttime, night sky, stars in the roof, all that. Senna's forehead. Yo, I'm not gonna lie. On a side note, listen, bro, listen. Senna's fine. Senna is fine. Seeing some streamers in person is kind of funny because you expect them to be either a certain height or look a certain way, and when they don't fit that mental image that you had, it really throws things out of whack. But yeah, whatever, you would be correct. Senna was fine. Bangs or no bangs, it did not matter. She was on 10,000. Even her dad was there. Yeah, they had their own little segment. I went to the oh my goodness, hold on, because I saved the timestamp somewhere. Let me see if I can find it. And I'm gonna show you guys. Hold up. Bear with me. YouTube.com. Right. We're gonna go Duke Dennis live. Don't mind that thought process, right? Hold on. Come here. Somewhere around here. All right, so I took a picture of the timestamp. Yeah, matter of fact, hold on. Why is that ad running on my page? We don't do ads around here. We don't do ads in this piece. Stop it. Thank you. The world is ad filled enough as it is. All right. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna find this timestamp. Catchy was there. Catchy was with Nick. I saw
Uh, uh, who's the girl that was always hanging with Arthur too? I remember they had like their little adventure. I can't remember where they went, but last year I was really following that group of four. Clara. Clara was there for sure. I saw Clara before I saw the rest of them, and then I ended up seeing what you call it, Catchy and Nick, and I didn't see what's his name, but yeah, everybody else was there. Where's my screenshot? There's my screenshot. All right, 1739. All right, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. All right. You can't tell, but this is me in the brown shirt. I knew I had to wear a light colored shirt so I would be able to pick myself out because the area was gonna be dark regardless. Are her legs actually long? Yes. Yes, bro. Stupid long, actually. It was I almost said it was disorienting. It was not disorienting. It was just surprising. Yeah. I don't. The reason why I went to Duke Dennis's account was because I knew his cameraman was going to be on 10,000, and I knew if there was going to be anybody's personal broadcast that would have that side of the court on it, it would have to be somebody that was on his side of the bench, and I banked, and the parlay hit clearly. Now, obviously, I can't see myself too well here, right? But I know that's me, so I'm happy about that. All in all, it was fantastic. It was 12 out of 10 experience, and I really sat here because like, so there's the wall here, and then there was a set of bleachers, like physical, like outdoor soccer game type bleachers, right behind here, and then you had two rows of seats for like streamer, creator, VIPs, reserve seat type things. Um, I was sitting here, and obviously these are really, really good seats, all things considered. I was sitting there, and I was like, that's not enough. I'm not low enough. I need to be on the floor next year. So I'm gonna be on the floor next year, man. I'm Y'all are about to see me more than you've ever seen me before. I don't know if that's a good thing to say out loud or not, but it's got to happen. It's got to happen.